Hey guys, what's up? Jamie here. We are live. See you guys coming in right now. What's up? What's up? I'm so excited to talk to you guys today about podcasting. What's up, guys? I know that some of you guys sometimes think these things aren't live, so I'm gonna put that to rest in just a second. But just really quickly, as you guys are coming in, it's a little bit windy here in Costa Rica today. If for any reason there's a lot of like wind rushing sound, I apologize. But real quick, give me just a quick hello, and I want to challenge you guys. Try and say hello to me without actually saying hello. So you might say salutations, good morning, whatever way you want to say hello. Let me know down below in the chat, and let me know where you guys are actually coming in from. Super excited to hang out with you guys. I'm actually here in Costa Rica today. I'm from England originally, but a lot of my customers are actually in the US. So it's going to be exciting to hang out with you guys. I'm pumped to share what I've got to share with you guys today. We're going to be talking about podcasting, about monetization, about all of these different strategies that you guys are going to be able to use to blow up your business. And I want to prove to you guys here that we're actually live. This is my phone today. Let's try and get that into focus and see if you guys can see it. But it's 12:01. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of February. Hey, Kel, what's up? Coming in from Savannah. Great to see you. It's the 23rd of February on a Tuesday. We're completely live. And I'm excited to bring this presentation to you guys today to talk about podcasting. Podcasting has been blowing up in 2021. It's been pretty incredible. And in last year, there was a ton new people actually coming in and podcasting. So today I want to go through that presentation with you guys. I want to help you get some actual value, but it's going to be interactive. You guys can ask questions. You can talk to me throughout this process. We're going to have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end today. But more importantly, I want to give you some real practical value. I want to show you how you can go about and build this business. Kel's here from Savannah. Got Robert from Old Canada. Exactly. We want to work from Costa Rica. So interesting in how good the internet connection is. Robert, we have a 200 meg up and down right now. So very, very reliable. We actually have 2 internet connections coming into the house right now just to make it a little bit more reliable. So let me get my screen sharing. Let me start talking to you guys a little bit about what we want to talk about today. You guys will know me hopefully already. If you don't know me already, my name is Jamie Atkinson, and I'm here to try and give you guys as much value as possible. My goal today is really just to help you understand how you can actually get started podcasting and how you can take it to the next level. Now, I'm not going to be able to see the comments. If I was looking at the comments like this, I'm going to miss out on a ton of stuff. So let me try and move this over here onto this other screen. And that way I can hopefully give you guys some value. Let me turn that screen share off. Let me turn this screen share on. And this way I can make sure that I can actually see you guys while we're going through these questions. Oh my gosh, that is so much better. Now I can actually see you guys as we're asking questions. So really quickly, I want to just be upfront and transparent with you guys. This is my Stripe account. A lot of people online, go and teach stuff without actually having done it ourselves. I've been running my business since May 2019, this specific podcast business. I've been in business since 2017. And in the last kind of 18 months to nearly 2 years now, we've generated over $500,000 of revenue just doing what I'm going to be showing you guys today. And really what I want you guys to know is that there's some really cool facts about podcasting that's super important to understand. And without what I'm going to teach you guys today, a lot of you guys are absolutely going to fail. And the reason why is if you look at some of the facts, the average podcaster, they produce 7 episodes before quitting. 80% of Anchor podcasts that are ever created don't even get a single download. And over 90% of podcasts that get created, they don't make it past 3 months. And honestly, most podcasters, they have no idea what success looks like. And, a few things really quickly here. First of all, if you've tried to do this and you haven't had success, it's not your fault. There's a lot of people out there who are teaching stuff. There's a lot of resources and content out there that say, just publish, and you'll make it happen. And what they're not telling you is how to actually make money in your business with a podcast. So if you're here and you're an entrepreneur who wants to try and make money online, if you're the kind of person who has an existing business and you want to grow it with a podcast, if you're somebody that is trying to scale a business or maybe even just make your first sale, what I'm going to show you today is going to give you the most important thing. And I want to tell you, it's okay to dream about being this next big, amazing podcast host. And it's more important to actually get paying clients than anything else. You're here to create a podcast to fuel your lifestyle, to fuel your business. And it's really, really important to focus on that with your show. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you guys today. But now we're here, we're not here to just talk about podcasting. Yes, I'm going to show you how to get into the top 200 with your launch. It's really not that big of a deal to do that. But what we're here to actually show you guys is, first, we're here to figure out why everybody is talking about podcasting. I'm here for you if you want to launch a podcast. And I'm also here because I want to show you how to be able to actually close sales with your podcast, even if you have a small audience or no audience at all. And finally, if you're kind of sick of this grind and you want to learn how to scale and grow your business and actually work less hours, be able to go to the beach and surf like I do here in Costa Rica and earn more money, then what I'm going to show you today is going to be super relevant. And I'm going to show you how to do that without ever needing to actually launch your show even in the first place. So we're going to be covering these 3 simple keys to exponentially growing your business with a podcast that requires no audience, no list, no promotion. And even if you have less than 100 listeners, and I know some of you guys are probably listening to this, you're thinking, Jamie, I'm not sure, this sounds a little bit far-fetched. Less than 100 listeners, that kind of sounds like BS. Like, can you actually do that? We have people like Matt Decino. He didn't even get around to launching his podcast. This is a super funny story. He actually went out and spoke to 27 of his ideal clients on his podcast. And in the first 30 days, he actually closed 30% of them. I think he closed 9 of those customers into this high ticket $3,000 a month service. And I just checked in with him the other day. He never even ended up launching the podcast, but he still made a ton of sales in that first month with it and went on to close a bunch of those leads. So I'm going to show you how to launch a podcast, but what I want you guys to know is you don't even have to do that to be able to leverage a podcast to make sales. And that's what I'm going to show you today. That's my goal. So my goal is really just to show you guys why a podcast is the #1 growth tool you need to be focusing on in 2021. I'm going to show you guys how to grow your business with your podcast, even if you don't have a huge audience or a ton of time. And I'm going to show you how to use your podcast to actually increase your sales and conversion straight away, and how you can do it drastically without having to wait. So if you guys are up for that, let me know down in the comments. Just give me your favorite emoji down in the chat, and I'm pumped to speak to you guys about this. So first of all, who am I? I'm Jamie. I'm kind of like you guys. Just like you, I was probably trying to figure out, a couple of years ago, how to make it in this online business. I through no paid traffic and just kind of organic hard work and the secrets I'm about to share you guys, in that first year, we generated over $250,000, and we've been scaling and helping other people to go through this process. I'm a bit of a nerd. You'll often see me, geeking out, like trying to hang out on my podcast and talk to cool people. I like to focus on what I call extreme self-care, which is having time back to myself where I'm either face masking or drinking beer. But in the last year, from May to May, before the pandemic hit, we were able to actually hit over $250,000 of sales using the strategies that we're going to talk about. And we actually generated another $250,000 in the 7 months later during this kind of pandemic world. And we've helped over 250 people actually launch profitable podcasts, many who are now generating stable monthly income from $1,000 to $10,000 to $25,000 and $40,000, and even a couple of people who are doing over $100,000 of sales from this. I was a member of Russell Brunson's 2 Comma Club X coaching program. We're the creators of the podcast Profit Lab. I'm a #1 best-selling author. And nobody else in the podcasting space is kind of doing what we're talking about. I was very lucky within the first 9 months to have Russell Brunson ask me to speak at one of his events for 300 of his highest paying $30,000 to $50,000 clients. And I want to stop here a second and just let you guys know, what I was teaching at that event, and those people paid $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 to learn. That's what I'm going to share with you guys today completely for free. And a lot of these people, they've gone and used this stuff that I'm teaching to go and get incredible results. More on that stuff later, and ultimately, what we've been able to do is we've helped clients literally make millions with this process that I'm about to share. People like Reem, and we're going to tell you a little bit about her 6- and 7-figure podcast story a little bit later. This is her with her daughter. Super, super cute. We're also going to tell you about Brett. That's Brett. Brett, he was super pissed that his sisters were getting all the limelight. So he decided to go out and launch his own podcast, grow a business. That'll show them. Just kidding. This is actually Brett. That's his son, Strive. This poor guy is so heavily outnumbered. You can imagine how much money he's investing every month in cute outfits and stuff like that every single month. We're going to talk to you how Brett actually used what we're going to show today. And he created 10 years worth of insane levels of monthly recurring income. And I'm going to show you guys how he took his income to the moon faster than any cryptocurrency really ever could, which if you have a household full of this many women, you absolutely need to make a lot of money. Am I right? I'm just going to show you how we help people like Rachel make her first sale online. She made her first $3,000. Nice job, Rachel. That's pretty awesome. So we've scaled to multiple six figures ourselves. We've helped hundreds of people launch shows. We've helped countless students make money podcasting in the first 30 days. But I want to be real with you guys. When I first started, I didn't really know how to do any of this. This is a picture of me in Bali. I'm actually in this picture super nervous because we were running out of a lot of money. And I had about 100 people on my list. I was kind of just getting by, pretty broke. And when it came to podcasting, I'm pretty sure I didn't even know which end of the microphone to plug in. And what I want you guys to understand is that there's so many high-level experts out there, people like Russell Brunson, people like Joe Rogan, people like Brendan Burchard, Alex Sharfin, Steve Larson, if you're in the ClickFunnels world. All of these people, they really didn't explode in their business until they started their podcasts. Marketing Your Car, Russell Brunson created this podcast on the day his business before ClickFunnels completely collapsed. Joe Rogan just started up literally on the back of just wanting to speak to cool people. Brendan Burchard, again, didn't have massive momentum until they guys started their podcasts. And this is what I want to help you guys to understand. And what I'm going to show you today is how a podcast can absolutely fuel your life and fuel your business. But I'm here to show you the how. I want to show you guys how you can actually do this, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys who are here are already aware that a podcast can help you, but you want to know how to do it the right way. So today I'm going to be covering the 3 keys of podcasting. First of all, we got our weird 1970s pirate radio hack. This is how you can actually launch and get into the top 200 charts in the first 48 hours, even if you don't have an audience or an email list or anything like that. So if you're starting from zero, we got you covered. Secret number 2 is podcast closing. This is how you can actually go out and generate sales immediately with your show without selling to your audience. This is how Matt did it without ever launching his show. I'm going to show you guys how to do that today as well, so you can actually put money in your pocket and get paid. And then secretly, I'm going to talk to you guys about the 3-hour work week. So many people talk to me about living in Costa Rica, traveling the world, having what I call a lifestyle business. And we've been very fortunate, but we didn't do it by accident. We built it by design. And I'm going to show you guys today how we did that, how you can actually give yourself this awesome pay rise, earn more money, but ultimately get your life back. Focus on the stuff that's really, really important. Most days I hang out with people online, take some phone calls, and then I go to the beach. Sometimes I surf. Right now, I've got a hole in my ear, so I can't actually surf. But that's what I want to help you guys to understand. So let's dive straight into this, because all of these business kind of keys for podcasting, they apply to all businesses. I know a lot of you guys right now, let me know down in the chat actually what kind of business you currently run. But a lot of you guys are going to be coaches, B2B, course creators, agencies, even people who've not even launched their business yet. And these 3 keys, they apply to all of those types of businesses. And I'm going to look out in the comments and see what you guys are putting down so we can make this super valuable. So you might have done this, you might have not done this, but the big mistake that 90% of people make when they get started with a new podcast is they focus on the download numbers. And I'm going to tell you why that's a big mistake today and what you guys should actually be doing instead. So if you've ever thought, man, I just don't know if I can get tens of thousands of downloads, this is going to be super relevant for you guys. So first, why are people going crazy about podcasting? Well, in 2018, this was how much podcast was exploding. Tons of people were listening to it. By 2020, it had absolutely exploded again. We went from 64% of Americans heard of podcasts to 75%. We went from 44% listening to 55% listening, 30%, 37% listen every month. We're talking like 100 to 150 million people who are consuming podcasts. But this is where I got really, really excited. And Robert, for a retirement business, is going to be really interesting for you. In 2020, thanks to the pandemic, podcasting exploded. In 2019, there were 318,000 new podcasts. There were 885,000 new podcasts in 2020. And what I want you guys to understand with this is that right now, this is a trend that is exploding. This market is growing like crazy. And it's a little bit like getting in on YouTube before YouTube exploded. Right now, podcasting is becoming mainstream thanks to everybody being moved online. And right now, there's a huge opportunity. And if you guys wait too long, it's not going to be as easy as what it is today to have success. Now, if you're worried about, oh my God, Jamie, all of these new people are coming into podcasting, how am I going to compete? We're going to cover that in the next 20 minutes or so. I'm going to help you understand how you can do that exactly. Now, why should you podcast? Well, back in November 2018, I was pretty much broke and I decided I was going to build $1 million business. So I went through a program called the One Funnel Away and I said, okay, I'm going to be publishing. I was told I needed to publish. And I said, okay, maybe I'll do a podcast. But I didn't actually get around to doing it for a while. And I just kept hearing these people shouting to me all the time, you got to publish, you got to publish, you got to publish. And I actually went to Funnel Hacking Live in 2019. And I went to that event really broke. Didn't have any money. We went and paid for the hotel rooms and paid for the event. And we actually forgot to leave any money left over to kind of go and eat. So we were making hotel room waffles, which is pretty hilarious. My girlfriend would use the iron to actually cook the waffles because we couldn't afford to spend $20 on some pizza. And frankly, what was kind of happening was I realized after that event that if I just stopped listening to tactics and started publishing, my life was going to change. And I heard this frequently. You must be publishing or you're never going to become relevant. So after this event, after Funnel Hacking Live, I decided, okay, I've got to go out and do this. This was me in the airport lounge before we were flying to Bali, just contemplating this all. And in February 2019, I actually launched it. I went out there and I did what I thought I was supposed to do. And some of you guys might have done this. I promoted it. I tried to get into New and Noteworthy. I talked about it online, absolutely everywhere. And it was kind of like this, I was publishing. It was really, really hard. And within about 2 months, things started to get a little bit easier. Within 2 months, I started to get some leeway. I started to get some traction. In the beginning, even though nobody knew me, I was a complete beginner, and nobody was listening to my show, suddenly I started to have these amazing people that started to want to be interviewed by me. This was just 1 week in April from like the 8th to maybe the 15th or something. And these are all the different podcast interviews that I started to get booked on with. This guy at the top, 7-figure entrepreneur. Apple Kreider, 6-figure entrepreneur. Eric was a 6-figure entrepreneur. Daxi actually ran a 7-figure agency. Neil ran an 8-figure business. He was a speaker. And I spoke to so many of these incredible people. David Dang down here had 1 million people on his Instagram, and he was willing to actually go and come on my podcast as a guest. And within 2 months, people actually started taking my call. And what was really powerful about this, and one of my friends, Lauren Tickner, teaches this inside of her programs, is that in order to become visible, you need A and C. And A actually stands for authority and C stands for credibility. And by going out and having my own podcast, I started to get this authority and credibility just from having a show and interviewing these different people. And within literally a couple of months, I actually went out and I launched a program. I launched an offer. And because of the credibility, we made our first $12,000 after never having done over $1,000 or $2,000 a month in the past 18 months. It was absolutely insane. Within a little bit more time, I actually went to an event and we had actually done at that point about $50,000 within 6 months of me launching my podcast and within 2 months of us launching our business. Fast forward again to 11 months later, our business had done over $160,000 in revenue. This was 9 months into my business and 11 months after launching my podcast. And this is me here with Russell Brunson. I actually was in his 2 Comma Club coaching program. I invested in it. I was really kind of overwhelmed at the start, but he actually asked me to speak at his event in January on this cruise out at sea. This is me here with this kind of hilarious t-shirt that my girlfriend got me for Christmas. And I want to help you guys to understand that with podcasting, it kind of became easy. I got clear on how I could help people. I was able to put my content out there consistently and become relevant. And more importantly, I had the platform that allowed me to start making money. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we did that and how we actually made the sales in a second, guys. But this transformation was crazy. 3 months in, got clear on how to help people thanks to the podcast, gained massive authority and that confidence in my marketplace. Within 9 months, Russell was asking me to speak to his 330 to 50K students. And within 12 months, we'd actually done over $300,000 of revenue. And at this point, this was completely organically. Now we run ads and stuff and we're starting to grow and scale our business. But May to May, this was all organic with the strategies that I'm about to share with you guys today. It exploded. And like I said, people who have had success with podcasting go on to have very successful businesses. Russell, when he started, he was broke and he had a failed business. Today, he's approaching $1 billion. Steve had no business, no capital. He's actually over $10 million in sales within 2 years. Alex Sharfin's business wasn't really in momentum either. these are kind of some of the big wigs, but there's some smaller guys as well. Josh Forty, don't know if you guys know him. He was depressed, lost, his business was failing. He launched his show, Think Different Theory, and he completely radically changed his business and life. Today, he's had a successful business exit. He's a multiple seven-figure earner, and he did it in less than 12 months. Lauren Tickner, just told you about Lauren. You can see her Instagram. She's got like 140,000 people on Instagram. She was a fitness influencer, a fitness business person. Today, she's a seven-figure entrepreneur, and she used her podcast to fuel that success. And even me, I was on my 7th failed business, and now we have over 500K in revenue. And what I want you guys to understand here is that your customer list is your number one asset. You probably already know this. People talk about owning your list, owning your emails, owning the people that are coming into your world, because you can get shut down by Facebook or LinkedIn or any of these other platforms. And what I want you guys to understand is that you can own your list with a podcast. But the difference is, instead of just opening an email, and the average open rates of an email are about 20%, on podcasting, the average person who listens to one of your episode will consume 80% of everything else that you put out. If you can get them to listen to one episode, they'll consume 80% of everything. And this is exactly what people like Lois did. Lois had less than 135 downloads on each of her episodes, but the people who are listening to those episodes were incredibly engaged. This actually happened literally just yesterday. I heard this back from her. She just launched a couple of days ago. She got 70 to 130 downloads. She had 20 sales calls booked. She closed 2 of those people onto $24,000 contracts. She got 8K up front, and that was just on the first 2 sales she did. She's got 18 more bookings to go. This is Sam. Apart from being, the tallest person in his friendship group, Sam also makes money from his podcast. He did a simple 3-episode series. He got 60% of his 500 people who consumed his content to listen to all of the episodes. He sold a $597 course. He made $5,000. This was literally just the first time he ever tried this. Nice job, Sam. Good work. This is Lizanne. High five for Lizanne. She hit number 18 in entrepreneurship. She grew her email list 8x in the first 30 days, and she closed over $5,000 in those first 5 days. This was over a year ago today. She's still got massive momentum with her show. She's got a multi-six-figure business. High five for Lizanne. So for some of you guys, you're thinking about this right now and you're saying, okay, this sounds cool, but it's hard to launch a podcast, or I don't know how to launch. How many of you guys are probably thinking this right now? But the truth is, it's actually really, really simple to launch a show. And this is what I want to tell you guys now. I want to give you our strategy to go and launch a show and get that authority and credibility that's going to make you stand out in the marketplace and help you to grow your business. It's actually this super weird 1970s pirate radio strategy. I'm British. In the UK, back in the 1970s, there were these pirate radio stations. The BBC owned all the broadcasting. They wouldn't let anybody broadcast any rock music or pop music. So these literal entrepreneurs and music enthusiasts, they went out to sea, got these big boats, and started just broadcasting by themselves. It was this really interesting phenomenon where it's like pirates versus the corporations. It's kind of like modern day, us individual podcasters owning our own platforms versus the Zuckerbergs of the world via Facebook. And if any of you guys have heard about Facebook and some of the stuff that's been going on, you'll know about this, about Facebook, jail, people losing their profiles. This actually happened to me in January of this year. Our entire Facebook profile just evaporated overnight. 11 years of memories, all of our lead gen for our business, it just disappeared. And right now, I'm paying my coach literally tens of thousands of dollars a year. This dude has 5 VIP ad account reps. He works with tons of agencies. Even he is saying in the next 18 months, one of the biggest transitions he needs to make is diversifying all his clients away from Facebook onto different platforms. Now, if you guys are here on this webinar, you'll know, I usually am promoting this webinar with Facebook advertising. So why am I going against Facebook? Well, just to be really transparent with you guys, I spent $3,500 on Facebook ads this week. It costs me about $12 to $15 a registration. Probably 1 in 4 of the people who registered are actually going to show up on this live call. So it probably cost me the best part of about $60 to $70 to get you guys to show up on this call today so I can talk to you about podcasting. That's just the truth. That's what it costs to go out and to do advertising. Alternatively, the way that we do it with our podcast, we're doing 1 podcast interview, and that 1 interview costs us about 30 minutes of our time. And we then get in front of somebody with an email list of, say, 45,000 people on it. And this was one of the partnerships we did. We did an interview. 30 minutes later, they agreed to be a partner. They had an email list of 40,000 people, and we had 750 people actually showing up onto that presentation, made a ton of money, made a ton of sales. Now, we're using advertising and these partnerships in our strategy today. But what I want to tell you guys is if you're starting out, even if you're below 6 figures, this is an incredible strategy to go and get people to show up for your products and for your services. So the question is always, how do you compete? Am I too late? Am I going to have a really hard time to compete with this? And this is why I want to give you our strategy so that you can compete and instantly get authority. Now, a lot of people, the way that you build trust, the old way with podcasting, I hate this way. It sucks. It doesn't work. How you build trust the old way is you grow an audience, you improve your know, like, and trust factor, right? You publish, you get to know them, you give them value, and you're publishing constantly and promoting constantly. And most people who give you this strategy, they'll tell you, look, it's going to take you 12 months, 24 months. It's going to take you a long time to build up your audience, but you got to do it. This is the way to do it. And instead, you got to wait 12 months before you even ever can hope to get paid. And at that point, this is why so many people give up. Now, the new way to build trust, and it's so much quicker and easier, and this is what I get my students to do, is actually just to go out and launch into the top charts of iTunes. Just like the music charts, you can get up into the iTunes charts, instantly get validated by coming into those top 200 charts, and you can leverage that authority you gain to unlock tons of leads, dream clients, going to tell you a bit more about that in a second, and massive joint venture partnerships like the one that I just talked to you guys about there. And how long this takes is literally 48 to 72 hours. You can get instant, massive credibility and authority just from doing one of these launch strategies. So let me tell you how to do it, because this is the key to actually going out and building that immediate trust and dominating. And we call it pirate radio because of the way these pirates did it back in the 1970s. So if you ever watched The Boat That Rocks, this is where this picture is from here. It's actually a movie all about it if you wanted to look up to it. But what they did was these pirate radio, because they were going against the establishment, they had to collaborate and work together. So what would happen was when a new pirate radio station was launching, they would all be out at sea. There'd be like 6 or 7 different pirate radios. Johnny Pirate would come along and want to launch his own show. And they say, hey, okay, we'll give you a shout out. So every one of the other pirate radio stations would do a little episode, a little section at the beginning of their show and say, hey, Johnny, the pirate radio is actually just opened up on FM frequency 102.1. Like, go listen to him. And they work together to promote that new radio station, right? And they work together. And this is the exact same strategy that we do with our podcast launch. We just rip it off from the pirates from the 70s, and it still works today. And this is how it works. You go and get your own pirates. You go and find 5 to 8 different entrepreneurs, people with audiences, people who are your dream customer or have your dream customer in their audience. And we're going to put out 5 to 8 super short episodes. They might be about 8 minutes in length. And when you launch the show, what they're going to do is they're going to work together to promote you, to get you tons of traffic, and to get you up into the top chart. So this is one of our recent launches for our Changemakers podcast. You guys can see we don't have a lot of downloads on our podcast. We still make a ton of money from it. And what this did for our launch, you can see this massive spike here. Down at the bottom here, these were the episodes. We had an episode from Lauren, from Travis, from Emily. All of these guys were working together to promote their individual episodes. And collectively, we got a ton of people to come and check out our show. And we got into that top charts. We beat out Russell Brunson, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins. And this is exactly what all of our students are doing to have massive success. You can see this is the update I shared with Lauren. I just give them little updates saying, hey, Lauren, you're in the lead. Hey, Ali, you're in second place. Hey, Ian, you're in third place, to encourage them to continue to share and to promote the episodes. And what this does, guys, is it's a very simple way that you can leverage other people's audiences. And it allows you to get into that top 200 chart position. And becoming top 200, that's kind of like becoming a #1 best-selling author. You get that massive credibility boost, and you can carry with you forever. Think about, somebody gets a #1 best-selling single. They're not a #1 bestseller for just the week that they were in the charts. They get to have that glory forever, and then they can leverage that credibility to get more music, more things out there, and you guys can do exactly the same thing in your business. Once you get into those charts, you are there forever. Now, most people, they completely mess this up, and it's okay because nobody's really telling them how to do it. It's easy to make a mistake. So your rank in the top 200, it's determined by usually 3 things: your subscriber count, your download count, your reviews. There's a lot of people who, disagree online. Some people say it's just the subscriber count. It's just this. It's just that. What I'm going to tell you guys is we get all of our students to focus on these three numbers. And it's what has gotten them those amazing results. But it also gets people to listen to your episodes, and it gives you massive social proof when you're actually doing this launch. And once you get into that top 200 position, it gives you that massive credibility. It gives you access to whoever you want. Just like I was able to go and interview those 6- and 7-figure business owners literally a couple months out of launching my podcast, even though I was a nobody, it gave you that opportunity to connect with them. And again, it doesn't take long. It literally takes 48 hours, even if you don't have an audience. This is Ron. He did exactly this back in September, right in the middle of the pandemic. And since he launched his show, they went from 0 in sales to about $70,000 in sales in literally 3 months. Both him and Corey, they worked for an airline. Corey got made redundant first. Ron got made redundant 3 months after him. Both him and Corey were able to leave their 9-to-5 jobs and focus on their podcast and helping the people they want to connect with. It was incredible. Remember Rachel I told you about before? She literally was traveling all around the world. I actually met Rachel in 2017. We joined one of the same programs when we were traveling and wanting to travel. She actually went into the PPL, said it was one of the best decisions she ever made. She went into being a speaker at an online summit, gaining authority, actually connecting with people around what she wanted to talk about. And she made about $3,000. And I just want you guys to understand, this was huge for Rachel. She'd never made a single cent online, and she was able to show her parents and say, look, like I actually made money. Like here's the $3,000 I made. And for her, it was a ginormous leap in giving her the self-confidence to step up. She actually found it really, really easy. We got tons of these people who are coming through this process. We like to have fun inside of this process. We like to think of ourselves as these podcasters who are growing our business, and it's a whole lot of fun. Now, first of all, that is all about launching your show. That's how to go out, gain the credibility, gain authority, and how to stand out in the space. But the thing that is the most exciting about that, when you do a launch, you're going to get so many leads. You're going to get so many people that download your show, tons of people that are listening. But what I want to talk to you guys now about is how to actually make money. How do you make sales? How do you actually grow your business in an easy way and actually get more revenue coming in your business? How many guys would be interested in knowing how to do that? That was what I was interested in. So I'm going to show you key number 2, which is podcast closing, how to generate sales immediately. There's a great quote by Zig Ziglar that I love. And he says that the secret to success is trust. If people like you, they're going to listen to you. But if they trust you, they'll do business with you. We are trust dealers. And how many guys think it would be easier to get one person to trust you and give you $5,000, or to get 1,000 people to trust you and download your show and only make $20? Think about that for a second. Which would be easier? Now, when we started our podcast, I was telling you, we were doing it the regular way. We went out. I was trying to get more authority. I was publishing every day, emailing my list, promoting the episodes, recording stuff. It was pretty exhausting. And 2 months later, I didn't have anything to show for it. No customers, right? That process was daunting. And I didn't know how to break through. I didn't know how to have success. And I looked everywhere. There was literally no answers on how I could make money without getting a lot of downloads. I literally Googled it. It's like, how long does it take to make money podcasting? And this is what I saw everywhere. You got to get sponsorships. You got to run ads. You're going to spend 3,000 to 5,000 downloads an episode before anybody's going to take you on. And my show is 3 months old. I had like 150 downloads. I just wasn't going to get to the 3,000 to the 5,000 mark. And in 2018, I actually invested, I think, $2,000 in myself in 2018, made about 25 grand. 2019, I invested $30,000 into a program and actually made just over $200,000 that year. 2020, we invested 70 grand in our own growth. And this year we've done $500,000. And I wanted to share this because one of the biggest turning points that happened to me in my business was when I actually invested in myself, and I surrounded myself with these individuals who were going to help me to push and grow my podcast. And I was out there and I was publishing all of the time, 2 months of publishing. And this is a picture of me here. I actually remember taking this picture, and I never shared this picture online. This is kind of like the beginning of my story. I took this picture because I wanted to say to people, look, I'm going to hit the 2 comma club. I'm going to make 7 figures in my business. But honestly, inside, I kind of felt like I didn't know how I was going to make it. And at this point, I'd literally only made like $189. $2.66. These are my bank statements. This was the credit card on the right. I had 2,400 pounds in expenses. I had 1,800 bucks left on my credit card. My balance went from 9 grand to 1,700. I literally had no money left. And I had this $2,500 a month coaching payment for the 2 Common Club X program to pay. And I just didn't know how I was going to make it. It was really terrifying. And then I did this one interview and it kind of changed everything. At this point, I was trying to sell dentists online. I was selling, coaching to dentists. And I did this interview with an entrepreneur and we spent about 30 minutes on the phone and he called me back the next day. He's like, Jamie, I love talking to you on this podcast. Tell me a little bit more about this stuff that you're doing. Tell me a little bit more about funnels and the stuff we were talking about on the show. And I kind of thought nothing of it. And we got back on the call. And after this 30-minute call I'd had with him, he ended up wiring me $2,000 via PayPal. I remember getting off that call, getting off that podcast interview, getting off the call with him on the follow-up. And I just remember sitting back in my chair and just being like, that was really weird. Almost completely by accident, I'd interviewed an entrepreneur, someone I wanted to work with. I just built, a genuine relationship with him. And then he gave me $2,000. And I compared that to all of the crap that I was doing on the other side. I was messaging people, trying to cold call them, trying to email people, just doing everything I could to try and book these appointments. And none of it was working. And then I did this really simple interview and I got given money. I was like, what happened? I was freaking out. I was like, what if instead of doing this by accident, what if I could do it on purpose? And I tried to figure out how to repeat that process. And in that process, I spent a month trying to repeat and do that again. And I got the same download numbers for my show. I got onto a ton of entrepreneurs who are people I wanted to work with. And when I was speaking to them, it didn't feel like this high pressure sales call, like all of the other stuff I'd done in the past. These people were happy to talk to me. And honestly, they were grateful that I was solving this problem for them. And this principle, guys, is super simple. With podcast closing, you sell to your guests, not the people listening to your show, not your audience. You see, podcast closing, it's kind of like dating. Like if you think about when you go and date somebody, right? Imagine you're single. When you want to go and date somebody, you don't stand on a soapbox in the middle of the street and scream out, hey, come and date me. What do? Well, first of all, you kind of go out and you invite them. You say, hey, I want to go on a date with you. Second thing you do is you go on that date, you build rapport, you ask questions, you find out more about them. You don't just go and ask them straight away if they want to go on a second date. You have a conversation, you get to know them, you talk to them, you get a deeper connection. And then third and finally, when you get to the end of the date, you make them an offer. If you're super confident, you'll be like, hey, come back to my place. If you're like me and you're not that confident, then actually what you're going to say is like, hey, do you want to go on another date? And podcast closing is exactly the same as that process. First of all, you invite somebody who you want to work with to connect with you on a podcast interview. Then you go and do an interview and you build rapport. And then at the end of them, you make them an offer. You say, hey, I don't know if you thought about this, but I have a lot of people like you. I'd love to talk to you about potentially working together. And this process is very, very simple. And we call it our 3-part podcast closing framework. Step 1, invite your dream customer. Step 2, interview them to build a relationship. Step 3, make them a win-win offer. And this is kind of how it works, guys. If you've got a pen and paper, I would write this down right now. Ebby says, Patricia here. Hey, Patricia, how you doing? Podcast closing step 1 is invite your dream customer. Find out who your dream customer is. If they're an entrepreneur, if they're a business owner, maybe they're a dentist, whoever it is that you want to work with, go and invite them to come onto your show. This is what's cool. Probably about 5% of people will say yes to a sales call. 80% of people will say yes to coming on an interview. So you just get way more people saying yes. And when you bring them on your show, it increases their status and it allows you to invite your dream prospects. What's cool about this is that so many people say yes. And because you've increased their status, they're already in a better position to be sold to. So for example, if you were doing regular sales calls, you're going to have about 5% of people who are going to book an appointment. And then an average person who's just okay at sales is going to close 1 in 10, right? So you're going to have to do 20 phone calls to just get one conversation. So to get a sale, you'd have to do 200 phone calls. It's insane. With podcast closing, you'll literally have 80% of people say yes. So you'll go and ask 10 people and 8 of them will say yes. And on average, you're going to close 25 to 50% of those. That's what our students are getting inside of our programs. It's insane. So if you do 10 people, you get 8 interviews, 2 to 4 of them are going to become clients. So step 1 is just to invite them. Step 2 is go and do that interview. Get connection and trust. Don't treat them like a prospect. Treat them like a human being. Learn about their pain points. Ask them what their goals are. Just ask them genuine human connections. Go deep, get emotional. You're going to get there with much less friction than anything else you do online. And then step 3 is after you finish the interview, you stop the recording, you carry on the conversation, and then you ask them if they're interested to talk about your offer. Hey, I don't know if you've thought about this, but I would love to help you inside of your business. Are you open to have a conversation about it? So all you guys have to do here is just speak to your dream customers. Remember we spoke about Reem earlier? Well, Reem is a perfect example of somebody who did exactly this. And we just did a Podcast Profit graduation event. She actually did the commencement speech, and she revealed on her commencement speech, she actually closed a $4 million deal that usually would have taken her 4 months to go and accomplish. She did it in 20 minutes on a podcast interview. That's how powerful this process is. It literally made her millions of dollars. And here's what's awesome about this. The more authority you have, the easier this becomes. So when we do what we talked about in key number 1 and we launch into the top 200, it makes the sales process so much easier. And podcast closing is easy. You don't need traffic. You don't need an email list. You don't need to promote. You don't even have to have an audience. All you need is the platform. You just have to have the podcast so you can go and speak to these people and actually talk to them about your product or service. Now, most experts, they're going to tell you to do it the hard way. You get to cheat. You get to do it the easy way. I'm very proud to say I'm a very lazy marketer. I like the easy route. So the hard way, which is what most people are being told to do with podcasting right now, is trying to get tens of thousands of downloads, promoting on social media, emails, graphics, videos, getting your show sponsored, running ads, promoting to your audience, building this know, like, and trust factor, waiting 12 months before you can actually build up an audience and sell them anything, and having these super highly edited, produced shows. If you've been struggling and you've been trying to do this, this is probably why. The real facts, remember the facts I told you at the beginning, is the average podcaster only does 7 episodes before quitting. 80% who have Anchor, they don't even get a single download. 90% quit and they don't make it past 3 months. And most podcasters have no idea what success is. And it's because they're doing the hard stuff. With podcast closing, you don't need to do any of that hard stuff. You can go directly to making money with your show. No crazy publishing schedules, no chasing thousands of downloads, no spending 20 hours a week promoting your show. If you wanted to make $1,000 the hard way, you literally need 50,000 downloads a month. If you publish once a week, that's 12,500 subscribers. That's insane. Most people aren't going to get to that, and therefore they quit and they give up. Now, there's people who figured out this process. We call them change makers. People like Brendan. Brendan actually did 25K in his first 30 days of launching his show. It became, and it established him with that credibility. He became an expert. Today, he runs a high 6-figure a year business, and he's got the credibility he gained from his podcast to get him clients. He's almost completely referral based now. There's also people like Susan. You know, she joined Podcast Profit Lab. She was struggling to get clients. She actually sells agency funnel building services. She was new. She didn't have credibility. She had no authority. She's spending tons of time in Facebook groups, just trying to land those deals. Don't know if you guys can relate with that. Coming through this process, she actually can attribute over $30,000 in revenue just directly related to launching her show. And then all of the credibility has helped her to establish herself. She now actually is doing about $12,000 a month in recurring revenue. It's a massive, massive leap from where she was a year ago. She's now running a 6-figure a year business. People like Corey. Now, I told you about Ron and Corey who ran their business. This is me and him at Funnel Hacking Live hanging out. He and Ron did 78K in 3 months. He was able to quit his job. They've got recurring revenue. They've got stability. These guys did this during the pandemic. This got easier because of what happened with the pandemic, because people were more online and people built more trust. You know, now in Ron and Corey, they now have this thriving business that's just going to keep growing, and they wouldn't have been able to do it without launching that podcast. And this is the big secret. You know, using podcast interviews, you're going to be able to connect with your dream customers, gain their trust, and sell to them. It really is that simple. Now, most people think selling is a bad thing, right? We're not trying to convince or persuade people. You know, we're just helping them with a product that you have that's going to genuinely help them. Now, there's no shortcut here. You want to have a product that's going to help people get a result. But this biggest secret here to 10xing where you are now and getting to that end result is really just having a product that you believe in. And I love this quote from Laurie Richardson. Selling is really about having conversations with people and helping improve their company or their life. If you look at it like that, selling is very admirable. Now, who does this work for? I want to share with you guys because some of you guys might be thinking now, okay, Jamie, this sounds cool, but how do I practically do it? Well, if you have an agency, if you're a freelancer, if you sell info products, courses, if you're a coach in e-commerce, affiliate marketer, B2B, even if you're just getting started, it works for all these types of businesses. Let me give you some examples. So Matt Decino, he was the example I gave at the beginning. He sells a $1,500 to $3,000 a month Facebook ad service. He didn't even launch his show. He just had a bunch of conversations and sold people. He was able to go and interview somebody on his show. It built status, it built trust. And then he said, hey, I noticed that you're an Epic owner and you're trying to grow your business. Do you want some help with that? We help a lot of people that are like you. Opened up the conversation. He then went and sold them the product on the back end. Got Susan. Remember I was talking about Susan? She sells $1,000 a month funnel building products, just $1,000, and she'll help you build a funnel. She was able to get her dream customers to come on. They would talk to her. She does this thing called Ask the Expert, where they come on, they have a conversation, they ask Susan a question. And then on the back end of that, she has a conversation. She says, hey, I know you came to me for help. Do you actually want some more help? And she was able to go and sell them her product and service. You got Reem. She sells $10,000 to $30,000 coaching packages online. She, again, was able to go and interview her dream customer, just build up that trust, build up that status, and say, hey, let me talk to you about helping you. Have you ever thought about doing it this way? And it's about those relationships. She was able to go and add nearly $5 to $6 million extra revenue inside of her business. And that's just what we've known about what she did just by having this conversation. It also works if you have a low ticket offer. This is Cherie. She sells a low ticket $27 a month box to dentists. And what she was able to do is actually go on the phone and go onto podcasts and connect with other dental offices. She actually went and built, I think, around 35 dentist partnerships with people she'd interviewed on her podcast, and they now sell her toothbrush box. And right now, she just came into one of our programs, and she's turning this into a high-ticket $2,000 client product. So now she's going to be working one-on-one, coaching people who come into these dental offices, actually selling them her product and service. And she's got those partnerships on the back end to be able to go and do this. We did this with our low ticket product. We went out and we sold an info product that was $7 to $27. We went to ClickBank, a website. We just looked at what were the best selling products. And then there's a list of the top affiliates, the top 20 people who've promoted that product. We went and interviewed those top 20 affiliates, had a conversation with them. And then we said, hey, I noticed you were selling this product on ClickBank. It's kind of the same as ours. Do you want to sell ours instead? And we literally had 50% of the people we reached out to who said yes to promoting it. This works in e-com. If you sell a supplement, this is one of my friend's supplement companies. He went out and found 20 vegan blogs. He sells a vegan supplement that weren't selling a product. He interviewed those 20 blog owners and he said, hey, I noticed you don't sell a product. Do you want to sell mine? And I'll give you a commission. Got 10 of those people to create a partnership. And that's now how he's exploded his brand. He gets over 500,000 hits to his website just through these partnerships. It works if you're a coach. You can literally go and interview your coaching clients. You can coach them even live on air and then just have a conversation with them on the back end about your coaching offer. What about a speaker? Well, I actually use this same strategy to go and speak on Russell Brunson's stage. You can literally interview and connect with people who are the event organizers and sell them your product. I hope you guys are seeing right now, how powerful this is. This is how many different industries this works in. And it's just about those three things: inviting the person, connecting with them on the interview, and then making them an offer. And some of you guys might be thinking, Jamie, this isn't going to work for me. My business is different. If you're thinking that right now, I just want to encourage you to let me know down in the comments why you think this isn't going to work for you. And I'll tell you how podcast closing can work. And remember Brett, right? You guys love Brett, right? This guy, just kidding. This is actually Brett. This is exactly what he did. He just got incredibly focused. And he said, I'm going to interview people. I'm going to build a relationship and I'm going to make them an offer. And what Brett did, and I just checked in with him a couple of days ago with these numbers, he's at $150,000 a year recurring for at least 10 years. That's an insane level of money. Absolutely insane. He's going to have that money coming in probably for 20, 30, 40 years, or maybe even forever. And he says 50% of that all came from podcast closing. So it's pretty crazy. And actually, this was the message he sent me. He said, I've also landed these huge strategic alliances with these billion-dollar companies. Let me know if you want a podcast swap. I was kind of laughing at this. It was like wax on, wax off. It's like the student has become the master. This is one of the things that I teach people to do. And he was doing it with me, even as I asked him for results. So hopefully right now you guys can see, how amazing it is to use podcast closing to make money. And you literally could be doing this by the weekend. This is what I want to share with you. And then you guys can all become official change makers alongside of me. Woo, that sounds exciting. Now, finally, that's key number 2. That's how you can actually make sales. But how do you create the lifestyle, right? So many people ask me, Jamie, how do you have this fun lifestyle business where you go to the beach and you surf and you live in Costa Rica and all of this stuff? So let me show you guys how you can give yourself a massive pay rise, avoid any of the tech problem or overwhelm or all of that stuff you might be worrying about with your podcast, and how you can do this and make money in less than 3 hours a week. So how many of you guys remember Gary Vee, right? Gary Vee, he's the opposite of what you guys should be doing right now, right? He's this hustle mentality, like work every hours of the day. I'm just far too lazy to ever even consider doing something like that. So what I get people to focus on instead is this principle of exponential income. And exponential income really is just about what small input can you put in that gives you a massive result. So for example, how can I do one small 30-minute interview that's going to bring me $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 worth of sales? And this is the entire principle of how we look at this. And what I want to do for you guys is I want to help you understand how you can get started right now. And I actually want you to go and land your first guest right now while we're here on the call. So I want you to go out and I want you to type this in. So grab your phone right now, open up Facebook. You can drop this in a group. You can drop it on your personal profile. And this is what I want you to type. I want you to type, I'm about to launch my new podcast. I'm looking for, and then write who you're looking for, your dream customers. Could be YouTube experts, coaches, local business owners. Maybe you just want to say experts. I'm looking for experts to interview. We need some rock star guests. Comment below if you want in. This was one of the posts that I did inside of a community. Tim Ferreira did this. He actually went out and he got a ton of people saying yes. Susan did this as well. Here's another example. This is from Ashley Flood. She was in a group called Like-Minded Bitches. Not really sure about that group. Never heard of that before, but hey, I guess that's the group that she's in. And I think everybody in this group, they refer to themselves as like mama bees or something. So she was like, hey bees, I'm looking for some mamas to interview. We need some rockstar guests for our new podcast. You guys can literally type something just like this. She got over 210 people commenting. She literally watched this same training as you guys, went and did this. And like the next day she messaged me, she's like, Jamie, this is insane. I got 210 people who are commenting. Like 50 of them are my dream clients. I'm going to go and interview them right now. And I'm actually probably going to close some sales on the back end. It was absolutely insane. So if you're not doing anything right now, like this is your chance. Like literally screenshot this right now, grab your phone and go and do it. And you guys are going to be able to get results immediately. Now, what was I doing before the 3-hour work week? A lot. I was editing my own show. I was, trying to promote stuff, trying to put it out online. It was just exhausting. I actually hired a VA. Now, most people don't realize this, but for 2 to 5 hours, $2 to $5 an hour, you can buy back your time. So my VA, when she first got started, I booked her for 20 hours a week. Those 20 hours a week, it cost me about $50. $50 for those 20 hours. And what that did was it meant that I got 20 hours back. She was just doing the stuff for me that I would usually spend 20 hours on. So I went and I took those 20 hours that I just gained back for $50 and I went and I did more interviews. And this was the first time I ever did podcast closing. This is as I was experimenting with it. And when I hired my VA and I just did more interviews, I was able to close 2 more $1,000 deals. So you see, guys, this is really powerful. Like, would you spend $50 to get your time back to go and make $2,000? Like, it makes total sense. And this is what I do in my business now. It's all about the who, not the how. How can I go and hire somebody to do stuff that I don't want to do so that I can focus on the stuff that makes me money? So you can hire out all of the stuff that you don't want to do. Podcast editing, show notes, videos, publishing to the platforms, figuring out how to put it to iTunes and all these other places. Now, all I do is just record these episodes. That's it. Boom. That's it. Done. So a lot of you guys might have heard that you need a VA. And really the trick here is just to be able to replace what the stuff you are doing with stuff that's going to make you money. That's it. Just do these interviews, make sales, outsource the rest of it. And if you focus on the part of podcasting that gives you this exponential result, which for us is this podcast closing framework, you can just focus on the really, really simple stuff. Small input, big result. So that extra 3 hours a week you got because you hired out the VA, you're going to do 3 interviews in those 3 hours. And one of those interviews is usually going to turn into a customer. So that's 4 deals a month. Like, how much would 4 deals a month be worth to you? Well, if you're like any of our clients and we teach them how to turn their offer high ticket, that can be powerful. If you have a $3,000 offer, that's an extra $12,000 a month from just 3 hours a week. How many of you guys could make or find an extra 3 hours a week, right? That's exactly what Michael did. I love Michael. He is very interesting. When he's not out, kicking butt in ninja style, Michael's actually saving cancer patients' lives and keeping the doctor away, as he says here. Now, I don't know what his methods are. They're probably unusual. Cannot confirm if wine is involved or not. But Michael literally runs a multi-million-dollar integrative health center in Idaho. He helps people with cancer. Incredible, incredible guy. He's pretty successful. He has a TV show on Amazon Prime, local TV show. He's done a radio show where he interviewed Nobel Prize winners, New York Times bestseller. When he came into our program, he said that PPL had enabled him, who genuinely didn't have any time. He didn't really have any know-how or technical ability and any technical skills. And he launched this extra section to his business with this podcast that now brings him in an extra $2 million of revenue a year, right? This podcast, it helps him to build relationships with these customers where he can sell them life-saving surgeries and life-saving solutions at about $20,000 a pop. Like, he's literally saving lives. So all you guys need to understand is if you just speak to your dream prospects and then use podcast closing, you're going to make a sale. So just take a second and write down right now, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. How much would it be worth to you if you could just close 1 extra retainer client, 1 more coaching client, 1 more course sale, 1 more partnership every single week? What would that be worth to you? Write it down. Write down how much the value of that actually is. So to pull it all together, guys, and this is what I want you to take away. If you followed what I said in key number 1, and you leveraged and went into a group, you made a post, you went out and launched your show, and you leveraged that top 200 ranked position, and you gained more influence. And then if you followed what I said in key 2 and just loaded up your schedule, speaking and interviewing your dream customers who are perfect fit to work for you in your business. And if you followed what I said in key 3, and you just outsource the simple tasks so you can spend less time making more money and you can actually go and enjoy your lifestyle, do you think maybe you guys might be able to pull this off? And Dan, I can see you got a question here. I'm going to answer some questions for you guys in just a second. So the 3 keys of podcasting, and this is what I want you guys to take away here. Key 1 is just that weird 1970s pirate radio hack. Think about that pirate radio. It's a good way to remember it in your mind. That's how to go and launch and get that authority and credibility so you can gain more visibility. Key 2 is connect it to sales in your business. How can you start making more sales? How can you charge more money? How can you actually figure out to make very, very simple sales? And the key thing here, guys, is it's really easy. You connect with them. You just have a regular human conversation. You say, hey, do you want some help with what I do? It's very, very simple. And then the 3-hour work week is how do you start to focus on outsourcing the stuff you don't want to do in a very easy way so you can just focus on the stuff that makes you more money and actually have a really fun lifestyle. So the question now for you guys is how do you make that happen, right? How do you make this happen? And there's really a kind of a big problem here. And that's doing something for the first time is kind of hard, right? A lot of us struggle with it. You make a lot of mistakes. Mistakes cost you time, energy, and money, right? There's a big cost associated. And if I'm just being straight up with you guys, if you guys don't figure out how to do this fast, then you end up giving up, just like those people that start out with podcasting. And if you don't know Grant Cardone, obviously he's a billionaire, really successful guy. And he kind of says, and he says this a lot, the most successful people in the world have coaches, mentors, board members to make sure their goals become reality. What do you have? So the solution to fixing this problem of how do you make it happen is to think about the who, not the how. You want to find a mentor who's where you want to be, and you want to learn from their experiences, and you want to miss those big walls that they ran into on their journey so you can skip the pain, right? And really, you've got 2 choices in this kind of situation, kind of what I call a fork in the road. Hope you guys like this little image here. Option one is you guys can go it alone. You can take what you've learned in the last hour or so from this call, and you can go and try it and you can do it. Problem is when you go alone, it's a lot slower. You tend to make a lot of mistakes. It can be really, really expensive and it can be really painful. Well, the second option is we go at it together. It's going to be faster. You make less mistakes. It's going to be significantly cheaper. And actually, it's going to be pretty damn fun. This is like one of the calls we do with some of the people that we're involved in. It's a blast. It's great to have other like-minded entrepreneurs who go out there to actually go and do this journey with, to go and figure out how do you make money? How are you doing it? What's the success that you've had? And you can lean on the experience of others to actually have that success. So if this kind of sounds like you and you want to create a profitable podcast that gives you back your time, and so you can grow your business to $10,000 a month and way more like some of our students have done quickly with my team's personal help, then let's talk. Now you can go to podcastprofitlab.co/apply and get on a call with me. Now, if you're tired of being told you need to be on LinkedIn or running Facebook ads or promoting every day, if you've tried publishing episodes kind of willy-nilly all over the place and you're not seeing any profits or growth in your business, or if maybe you're paying $97 a month right now for ClickFunnels or some software online, and you know that publishing is the key, but you're not sure how to connect the dots and make it happen and actually get paid, then right now, guys, we're actually taking on a small group of people and we're going to be working with them one-on-one. People like, entrepreneurs who want to grow and make this business online, and people like the ones that I've talked to you about today, people like Brendan, people like Lois, people like Reem, people that we've talked about in this presentation today who can actually go and get to the next level. So I want to let you guys know you can be just like them. So if you want to do that, you can go to podcastprofitlab.co/apply and you can book in a call. And this call's with me. I've got my team to open up my calendar for the next 5 days so I can speak to you guys. You'll be doing the call directly with me. And I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to do the calls this way. In all reality, probably soon I'm going to be outsourcing and getting a team member to do it. But for now, these calls are going to be with me. So if you're building an online business, if you're trying to figure out how do I go from funnels and ideas to actually making sales, if you're the kind of person that's been trying in Facebook groups and promoting and you just aren't getting any leads coming through, or if you're the kind of person that maybe you've tried to cold message people on Messenger or Instagram, and you're just not getting any traction, then if that's you, I want to help you and I want to work with you in your business. Go to podcastprofitlab.co and apply. We're going to do a 45-minute call. It can be on Zoom or it can be a phone call, whichever one you guys prefer. I'm going to diagnose your current situation. We're going to take a look at where you are today, and then we're going to see if our model is actually going to work for you. And on the back end of that, I'm going to help you map out an action plan to hit $10,000 a month using what we teach. And there's very, very high chance that this might be the most valuable 45 minutes that you'll get this year. Now, I want to let you guys know who this is for and who it's not for. Who this is for coaches, course creators, agencies, or if you're an expert and you're currently in business. If you sell something like an info product, one-to-one or group coaching, if you are doing consulting or done-for-you services or agencies, I can help you figure out how to have success with this model. People who know they're good at what they do and believe that they can add value to the marketplace. Truthfully, you have to have something that's valuable because all the strategies in the world aren't going to fix a bad product. And I want to work with people who love helping others. I want to work with people who get lit up and excited about trying to get clients results. And above everything else, I want people that are interested in actually working closely with their clients to get them that result. And finally, I want to work with people that understand that you need to have some skin in the game if you're going to win. And ultimately, like I've talked about, like so many people have talked about, the minute that I invested in a coach and somebody to help me get to that result, that's when I started to have massive, massive success inside of my business. So if this sounds like you and you want to chat and you're thinking, maybe I want to work with Jamie, maybe I want to help him to accomplish exactly what we talked about, help me grow my business to $5,000 or $10,000 a month, really get to that six-figure level, then reach out. Go to podcastprofitlab.co/apply and let's talk. And right now, I want to spend a little bit of time just answering your guys' questions and helping you out. I can see you guys are coming in the chat here. Let's talk, let's chat a little bit about how I can help you. So let me move this over here. I can look at it. Let me know down in the chat right now, what questions do you have? Maybe you're wondering, what does this look like? Maybe you're wondering, how is this going to apply to my business? And let me know, what kind of business are you running? And I can give you guys some examples. I'm going to spend a little bit of time here in the Q&A because, we're live. Some people might come in late. Yeah, it's the 1:04 on Tuesday, the 23rd of April, We are actually live. I know people think sometimes we're not. Let me answer some of your questions. So let's take a quick look. So Robert's saying, he's in a retirement business. Robert, tell me a little bit more about your retirement business. I'd love to learn what you're doing right now. And let me know, how are you helping people? How much are you charging? And we can see how this is going to work. Kel says, I've got a meeting. I have to go in a minute. No worries, Kel. If you want to reach out and connect, absolutely jump on and we can book a call. Dan says, simple, powerful idea. Can you please clarify, does the interview equal the podcast with others listening? Are they interviewing experts one-on-one? Yeah, Dan, you can actually choose how you want to do this. So what a lot of people do is they go and do the podcast interview. It's going to be one-on-one, and that's going to be a recorded interview, and you're going to publish that out live, right? That's going to go on your show. It's going to go out to your audience, to anybody that's listening. And what you do is the podcast close part, that comes after the interview's finished. So you get them on the show, you build that relationship, you start to connect with them. And then once the interview's finished, you kind of carry on the conversation. Like, oh my gosh, man, Dan, that was such a cool conversation. I love talking to you about your business. I can't believe you live in Idaho. Like, tell me more about that. Like, whereabouts? Carry on the conversation. And then after the interview is done, they're not going to be in presentation mode. Going to drop their walls. They're going to be more casual with you. And that's when you can start to talk to them about how you can help them inside of their business. And actually, we have a student inside of the program. His name's Brett. We were talking a little bit about his results. Brett actually just posted a podcast interview on YouTube a couple of days ago, and he was interviewing Kevin Harrington. I don't know if you guys know Kevin Harrington, creator of the infomercial. He was on Shark Tank. Obviously a really successful guy, right? So Brett got him on the podcast interview. And what was really interesting is during the interview, he was dropping in these little bits of information about how he can help people. He was like, yo, Kevin, that makes so much sense. We had one of our clients who did exactly that, and we put them through the deferred tax trust, and he was actually able to defer and make a ton of, he was deferring his tax, and he saved over $2 million. Brett, he sells a tax service, right? And on that interview, in the middle of doing the interview, Kevin Harrington was like, hey, wait a minute. Are you telling me that if you go and use this deferred sales trust, you can actually defer your spending? So right in the middle of that interview, Kevin Harrington started asking Brett about his product. He actually started he flipped it. He wasn't being interviewed anymore. He started asking about those products and services. So when you're thinking about, that process, don't be scared to drop in, little hints about how you've helped people, or maybe how, somebody that was one of your clients might have had that result. Because at the end of the interview, they sometimes will come to you and they'll start asking you about your product and service, and you never even have to start that conversation. So hope that helps. Baylan, Baylan, sorry, am I saying that name right? Baylan, or is it Baylin? Baylin, not sure. Baylan, I think. You say, love the drip idea. I've started that. Just need to continue the conversation. Yeah, it's really, really powerful. Baylan, tell me a little bit about your business. Tell me about what you do, and I can give you hopefully some context in the Q&A here. You said you missed the beginning. I'm going to send out in email the replay as soon as it comes live. It's going to take me maybe an hour or so to upload it, and then I can help you kind of figure out how to do that. So Dan says, that makes sense. Source the experts, interview them, build a relationship, then make an offer post podcast. Love it. I can get on board with that. Dan, that's exactly what we teach. And it's very, very simple. Sometimes people get lost in the nuance of it. If you want, and if this sounds like something you could get behind, we're always trying to get people results as fast as possible. That's just how I love to do business. If you want, reach out, connect. We can get on an application call, podcastprofitlab.co/apply. I'd love to chat with you. We can actually look at your business, see how this makes sense, and maybe see if we can help you figure out how to take it to the next step. Baylan says, buy lawn. Baylan, buy lawn. That's how you say your name. I thought you were saying your business is you buy lawns from people, like a grass, like mowing the lawn. Buy lawn. Sorry, didn't mean to say it wrong. So you're building global dream makers movement. I help leaders organize their lives using the Dream Maker Matrix, build the life you envision. But start the Leaders Edge podcast. Okay, that sounds amazing. Tell me, what's the biggest area that you're kind of being slowed down with right now? Because a lot of people, when they have the podcast, the biggest challenge they have is they can't go from, getting started to figuring out how to make any money from it. And ultimately, we're in business. We're business people. Business is about making sales and making money. So if you're creating a podcast and you aren't able to figure out how to make money with it, that's exactly what, we talked about today. And the secret here is Baylorn. I'm so sorry. I keep saying your name wrong. Baylorn, tell me a little bit, what's the product that you sell? How much is your product? And who are you selling it to? Tell me those three things. How much is your product? What are you helping people with, and who do you sell it to? And I'll give you a little bit of context in how we would use this podcast closing formula we've just been talking about to basically have success. And it sounds like, if you're interviewing these global people who are making and want to create movements, this sounds a little bit like Lizanne Murphy. Lizanne, she actually has a show called The Marketing Matrix. She came through our program. And this was exactly like her. She wanted to work with people who created movements. And what she did was exactly what I'm teaching you guys here. She literally was able to go and connect with these influencers, connect with these people making movements, and really just start that relationship, start that conversation. She connected with them on the show. She became friends with them through this interview process. And she said, look, I don't know if you're cool with this, but I actually have a lot of clients that I help with who are doing what you want to do, build a movement. I think I might be able to really help you. Were you interested? We can jump on a call if you like. And literally just that little subtle conversation has helped her to go on and get tons of clients in this space. So you might find that, Baylorn, you might find that is going to be the way that you want to go about it. Getting all the tech done efficiently. I love interviewing people. Yeah. If that's the biggest area that you're struggling with, that's one of the big secrets that we teach is if you can focus on making money from your show, you can just outsource all of the stuff that you don't want to do. I've got all of this equipment, this technical stuff that, my team told me to buy. And because I've been doing it for 12 months, we got some fancy stuff now. But when I was just getting started, I just had a cheap microphone. It was this $70 microphone. We just plugged it in via USB and I did these interviews. And sometimes I wouldn't even do that. I would just do it on my phone. If you've got a phone right now, that's all you need to get started. You can literally just connect with people and have these conversations there. Because the quality doesn't matter if you're just looking to build the relationship with them. And that's the secret here. You can just build that conversation. So Baylorn, I love this. You got a $197 low ticket product or a 1-day intensive, and then you get them into that 6-month group coaching program. I love this. And this is exactly what we're looking to help people to do. And in terms of if you're jumping on a call with us, again, the link's on the screen right now. You can go to podcastprofitlab.co/apply. What we do is we really help people to understand, okay, what do I need to do to have success? So we'll help you figure out that plan of how do I get more of those high ticket clients? And we'll work with you to figure out what that plan looks like so you can actually go and start selling more of those high ticket clients. This is what we did with Brendan. Brendan came in and he said, okay, look, I want to sell more of my $2,500 program. And the focus was simple. We sat down with them. We said, cool. The only thing we need to do is get you on more calls. The more calls you can have, the more people you'll sell into your high ticket program. So we created this really simple plan. Okay, let's do it. Let's get you booking on more calls. That's it. And we used his podcast and that was it. That's all we wanted to do. And we just focused on getting more of those calls booked using the podcast so that he could sell more people into his higher ticket program. Today, he's doing $30,000, $40,000 a month in sales consistently. I don't think he even needs to do outreach anymore because he's worked with a few people and now he's getting referring, retainer clients. They're just referring people to him. He doesn't need to do any outreach. It's pretty crazy. So guys, I'm here for a couple more minutes. I want to make sure I'm answering all of your questions. If this was interesting for you, if this sounds like something that you want to try and do inside of your business, book a call. Let's get on the call. Let's connect. I want to try and find out and help you one-to-one. We'll get on a 45-minute call. As soon as you click the link is now in the chat. You can click the link and let me just share my screen really quickly. And I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like. So as soon as you actually click on this, let me just share my screen. I'm going to show you guys exactly what this looks like. So all you need to do is click on this link in the chat. It's going to take you to a survey. This is just to help me understand a little bit more about you and your business. So if you're an entrepreneur who's already in business, click this. If you're a sortpreneur, maybe you're not established yet, or you're just thinking about it, click whichever one is relevant. Type in your name, and just go through and answer these questions. Give me your email so I can send you the links. I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions about your business. And then at the end, once you get to the final question, it's going to redirect you and you can go and book a link in directly with me. And what you're going to be able to do is see the availability that my team has actually opened up for you. So we've opened up some different time slots. So I'm just going to see here and see and show you guys what this is going to look like. So once you fill in the application, it's going to take you across here to the calendar. We've got some different times over the next 5 days. So you can literally click this link. We've got some different times available here. I've got some Saturday and Sunday times that are available as well. Opened up the schedule. If for any reason, if you guys can't find a time slot that works for you, then all you need to do is just reply to one of my emails and let me know, Jamie, I tried to book in a call, but I couldn't find the time. Let me know, and I can always try and see if I can open up some extra spots for you. But we got some time over the next 5 days to talk about this, and I'm really, really excited about helping you guys inside of your business and taking it to the next level. So any other questions? I can see we've got 7 of you guys here still on live. Any questions, anything else I can help you guys with, or anything else that you wanted to know? And I'm just going to go silent here for a couple of seconds, see if you guys have got any more questions, and then we're going to finish and you can enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Hydrate, guys. Got to hydrate. Super, super important. All right, guys. Awesome. So it looks like we've answered all of your questions. I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys. I'm looking forward to those of you guys who are applying. No worries, Dan. Super awesome to connect. Hope this is valuable for you. And honestly, podcasting has changed my life. It's been so impactful to be able to live in the places that I want to live, to be able to work with the clients I want to work with, and really just to help more entrepreneurs. I know what it was like when I got started. It was exhausting. It was tiring. I wasn't sure which one was the way to go. So I'm just excited to be able to work and help people figure out, what I was able to do the last couple of years. I'm really just a couple of steps ahead of you guys. And that's why I want to help you figure out what path you can do. Dan, looking forward to connect. Yeah, can't wait to chat, buddy. It's going to be really exciting. Bye, Lauren. Looking forward to watching the whole presentation. Yeah, I'll upload it as soon as possible. I'll send out the email for you guys. Keep an eye out for that, and we'll be in touch. And yeah, I'm really excited to connect with you guys. So have an amazing Tuesday. I hope this was valuable. Can't wait to connect with you guys on the calls, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.